Ladies and gentlemen, life is a journey best navigated with purpose, grace, and strength. Smart women, those who leave an indelible mark on the world, live by certain principles that guide their actions and decisions. Today I share with you 7 rules they follow, not as a prescription but as an invitation to reflection. First and foremost, self-respect is non-negotiable. A smart woman knows her worth and guards it fiercely. She does not tolerate disrespect, manipulation, or situations that chip away at her dignity. She walks away when necessary, not because it's easy, but because it's essential. Second, she never stops growing. Life is ever-changing, and the truly intelligent woman sees every challenge as an opportunity to learn. She invests in herself through books, experiences, or simply by listening. Growth isn't a destination, it's a mindset. Third, authenticity is her superpower. Smart women know that conformity is overrated. They wear their true selves like a badge of honor, unapologetically unique. They understand that the world doesn't need another imitation, it needs their voice, their ideas, and their courage to be different. And fourth, boundaries protect her peace. Smart women know when to say no. They value their time and energy, allocating it to what truly matters. A boundary isn't a wall, it's a declaration of self-love and a pathway to healthier relationships. These rules aren't about perfection, but about intention. They are a framework for navigating a complex world with confidence and poise. To the women in this room, may you find your voice, honor your worth, and walk boldly into your future. And to the men listening, be the champions of the smart women around you, for their brilliance uplifts us all. Self-respect is the foundation upon which every meaningful aspect of life is built. It is not simply a trait or a value, it is a commitment to oneself. A quiet yet resolute declaration that one's worth is not up for negotiation. A woman who possesses self-respect radiates a confidence that commands the room, not because she seeks attention, but because she is deeply in tune with her own value. This sense of worth is not dependent on external validation or the fleeting approval of others. It stems from within, nurtured by the choices she makes and the standards she sets for herself. To respect oneself is to set the tone for how others treat you. A smart woman knows this truth and lives by it. She does not allow disrespect to seep into her life, whether it comes from relationships, work environments, or societal pressures. When faced with situations that diminish her dignity, she acts decisively, knowing that tolerating disrespect once opens the door for it to become a pattern. Walking away from toxic relationships, even when it is painful, is not a loss. It is an act of courage and self-preservation. Self-respect is also about the boundaries she establishes. These boundaries are not acts of defiance but of self-care, ensuring her time, energy, and emotions are not squandered on things or people that do not align with her values. A woman with self-respect does not feel the need to explain or apologize for these boundaries. She understands that saying no is as much an act of kindness to herself as saying yes is to others. In addition to setting limits, self-respect requires accountability to oneself. It means honoring your commitments, showing up for yourself even when no one else is watching, and staying true to your principles. It's about choosing actions and words that align with your inner sense of integrity. A smart woman understands that her self-respect is reflected in how she treats others, for true respect is reciprocal. It is not about arrogance or superiority, it is about recognizing her worth while valuing the worth of others. There will be moments when self-respect is tested. Society often imposes expectations that demand compromise, whether to fit in, succeed, or avoid conflict. But a woman with self-respect refuses to be defined by external pressures. She stands firm, even in the face of criticism or rejection, knowing that staying true to herself is far more valuable than conforming to standards that do not serve her. She doesn't seek perfection, for she knows it's unattainable. Instead, she strives to be authentic and consistent in how she lives her life. Self-respect is not static, it grows with experience and self-awareness. It requires the courage to confront one's flaws, learn from mistakes, and make better choices moving forward. It is an evolving practice, one that deepens as she learns to love herself fully, both her strengths and her imperfections. Through this, she becomes a beacon for others, inspiring respect and admiration simply by being unapologetically herself. A woman who prioritizes self-respect is not invincible, but she is resilient. Her confidence is not about never falling, but about always rising. She knows that respect, whether given or received, begins within. In choosing to honor herself, she sets the example for how she deserves to be treated, and in doing so, builds a life that reflects her worth in every way. Continuous growth is the hallmark of a life well lived. It is the understanding that learning and evolving are not confined to a particular stage of life, but are ongoing processes that shape the very essence of who we are. For a smart woman, growth is not an option, it is a commitment she makes to herself, a promise to never stagnate, to keep reaching for new heights, and to embrace the transformative power of change. Growth begins with the courage to step outside of comfort zones. It is in those spaces of uncertainty and challenge where the most profound lessons are learned. A smart woman understands that staying comfortable may feel safe, but it often leads to complacency. She seeks out opportunities to expand her horizons, whether by taking on a new challenge, learning a new skill, or simply allowing herself to view the world from a different perspective. Growth requires risk, and she embraces it with grace, knowing that failure is not the opposite of success, but a crucial part of the journey. The pursuit of growth is deeply tied to curiosity. A woman who values continuous growth approaches life with a sense of wonder and inquiry. She asks questions, explores new ideas, and remains open to learning from anyone and anything. This openness allows her to adapt and thrive in a rapidly changing world. She understands that true wisdom comes not from knowing all the answers, but from being willing to seek them. Growth is not limited to professional achievements or external milestones. It encompasses every aspect of life: emotional, intellectual, physical, and spiritual. A smart woman invests in her emotional growth by becoming more self-aware and working to improve her relationships. She recognizes the importance of understanding her own feelings, as well as the feelings of others, and seeks to build connections based on empathy and respect. She knows that growth often comes from the most challenging moments, and she embraces those moments as opportunities to become stronger, more compassionate, and more resilient. Intellectual growth is another cornerstone of her journey. She reads widely, engages in thoughtful conversations, and seeks out knowledge that challenges her assumptions and broadens her worldview. She understands that education is not confined to formal institutions. It is a lifelong endeavor that can be pursued through books, experiences, and meaningful interactions. She does not shy away from difficult or complex topics, knowing that understanding them enriches her perspective and equips her to make informed decisions. Physical growth and well-being are also essential parts of her life. A smart woman values her health and invests time in caring for her body, recognizing that it is the vessel through which she experiences the world. She seeks balance, not perfection, and understands that self-care is not selfish but necessary for sustaining the energy needed to pursue her goals. Spiritual growth, whether through meditation, reflection, or connection to a higher purpose, gives her life depth and meaning. She takes time to reflect on her values, her purpose, and the legacy she wants to leave behind. This introspection fuels her drive to grow, helping her align her actions with her principles and creating a sense of fulfillment that goes beyond material success. Continuous growth also means embracing humility. A smart woman knows that she does not have all the answers and that there is always more to learn. She is not afraid to ask for help, seek guidance, or admit when she is wrong. This humility allows her to build authentic relationships and fosters an environment of mutual respect and collaboration. Ultimately, growth is a journey, not a destination. A woman committed to continuous growth understands that there will always be room for improvement, and she welcomes this reality with excitement rather than frustration. She measures her progress not by comparison to others, but by how far she has come on her own path. Growth is about becoming the best version of herself, not by external standards, but by her own evolving vision of what that means. Through continuous growth, a smart woman not only enriches her own life, but also inspires those around her to do the same. Her commitment to learning, evolving, and striving for more creates a ripple effect, empowering others to believe in their own potential. She becomes a living testament to the idea that life's greatest rewards come not from standing still, but from moving forward, one step at a time. Authenticity is the essence of true freedom. It is the unwavering commitment to live a life that reflects who you truly are, without succumbing to the pressures of conformity. A smart woman understands that being authentic is not merely a choice, it is a necessity for a life of integrity, fulfillment, and purpose. To embrace authenticity is to embrace oneself fully, with all the strengths, flaws, and complexities that make each individual unique. Living authentically requires courage. The world often encourages conformity, offering a sense of safety in blending in or following the crowd. Yet, authenticity challenges this by asking one to stand apart, to speak one's truth, and to live in alignment with one's core values. A smart woman understands that the easy road of conformity may provide temporary acceptance, but it ultimately leads to a loss of self. She chooses the more challenging path of authenticity, knowing that it brings genuine connections and a sense of peace that conformity never could. Authenticity is about self-awareness. It begins with understanding who you are, what you believe in, and what truly matters to you. This process of self-discovery is ongoing, requiring reflection and introspection. A smart woman takes the time to examine her beliefs, question her motivations, and ensure her actions align with her values. She doesn't shy away from the parts of herself that are imperfect or unconventional. Instead, she embraces them as integral pieces of her identity. Being authentic does not mean being static or unchanging. It means staying true to oneself even as growth and transformation occur. A smart woman allows herself to evolve while remaining grounded in her principles. She recognizes that life's experiences, challenges, and lessons shape her, but they do not alter her core essence. Authenticity is not about clinging to a fixed image of oneself, it is about being honest with where you are and who you are at any given moment. Authenticity also involves vulnerability. To be true to oneself means to open up and share your genuine thoughts, feelings, and experiences with others. This can be intimidating, as it exposes you to judgment or rejection. Yet, a smart woman understands that vulnerability is not a weakness but a strength. It fosters deeper connections, builds trust, and creates a space for others to feel safe in being themselves. By living authentically, she gives others permission to do the same, inspiring a culture of honesty and acceptance. Rejecting conformity does not mean rejecting community or collaboration. A smart woman values the perspectives of others and engages with them openly, but she does so without losing her own voice. She listens, learns, and adapts, but she does not compromise her authenticity to fit in or gain approval. She understands that true belonging comes not from changing who you are to fit a mold, but from finding spaces and people who appreciate you for who you are. In a world that often rewards appearances over substance, authenticity can feel like an act of rebellion. It requires resilience to withstand the pressures of societal expectations, whether they come in the form of beauty standards, professional roles, or cultural norms. A smart woman resists these pressures by defining success and happiness on her own terms. She understands that her worth is not determined by how well she conforms, but by how boldly she lives her truth. Authenticity is liberating. It frees a woman from the exhausting task of pretending to be someone she's not. It allows her to channel her energy into pursuits that genuinely matter to her, rather than maintaining a facade. This freedom brings with it a profound sense of fulfillment, as she aligns her actions with her purpose and creates a life that reflects her true self. Authenticity is also a source of strength. A smart woman who lives authentically is less shaken by criticism or failure because her sense of self is not tied to external validation. She knows who she is, and this self-assurance allows her to navigate challenges with confidence. Her authenticity becomes a guiding light, helping her make decisions that honor her values and aspirations, even when the path is uncertain. By choosing authenticity over conformity, a smart woman not only enriches her own life but also makes a positive impact on the world around her. Her courage to be herself inspires others to do the same, creating a ripple effect of authenticity and acceptance. She demonstrates that the most powerful way to make a difference is to show up as your true self, unapologetically and wholeheartedly. In doing so, she leaves a legacy that goes beyond success or recognition. It is a legacy of integrity, courage, and a life lived with purpose. Boundaries are a vital act of self-respect and self-care, offering a framework for a balanced, fulfilling life. They are not barriers meant to isolate, but tools to protect a woman's peace, time, energy, and emotional well-being. A smart woman understands that setting and maintaining boundaries is not selfish, it is an empowering choice that allows her to show up fully for herself and others without compromising her sense of self. Boundaries define what is acceptable and unacceptable in how others treat you. They are an expression of your values, priorities, and needs. For a smart woman, boundaries are a way of asserting her autonomy and ensuring that her relationships, whether personal or professional, are built on mutual respect and understanding. She knows that without boundaries, her energy can be drained by demands and expectations that do not serve her well. One of the greatest misconceptions about boundaries is that they are about controlling others. In truth, boundaries are about self-management. A smart woman recognizes that she cannot control how others act, but she can control how she responds and what she allows in her life. This shift in perspective is empowering because it places the responsibility for her happiness and well-being firmly in her hands. She sets boundaries not to push people away but to create space for healthier interactions and deeper connections. Establishing boundaries begins with self-awareness. A woman who values her boundaries takes the time to understand her limits, what she can give and what she cannot, what she is comfortable with and what crosses the line. This clarity allows her to communicate her boundaries effectively, ensuring that others know where she stands. She does so assertively but with kindness, recognizing that boundaries are most effective when expressed calmly and respectfully. Maintaining boundaries can be challenging, especially when faced with guilt, criticism, or resistance from others. A smart woman navigates these challenges with grace, reminding herself that her boundaries are not up for debate. She understands that some people may test her limits or push back, but this does not deter her. She remains steadfast, knowing that compromising her boundaries for the sake of pleasing others ultimately leads to resentment and burnout. Boundaries are not only about saying no to others, but also about saying yes to yourself. A woman with strong boundaries prioritizes her own needs, ensuring she has the time and energy to pursue her goals, nurture her passions, and care for her well-being. She knows that when she respects her own boundaries, she is better equipped to support and uplift those around her. Her boundaries become a source of strength, allowing her to give without depleting herself. In the workplace, boundaries are essential for maintaining professionalism and preventing burnout. A smart woman understands the importance of separating her work life from her personal life, ensuring that her time and energy are not consumed by unrealistic demands. She sets clear expectations with colleagues and superiors, communicates her limits, and advocates for herself when necessary. By doing so, she not only protects her own well-being but also sets an example for others, fostering a culture of respect and balance. In personal relationships, boundaries are the foundation of trust and mutual respect. A smart woman is not afraid to communicate her needs, whether with friends, family, or a partner. She understands that healthy relationships thrive on open communication and shared understanding. Boundaries help her build connections that are rooted in authenticity and respect, free from manipulation or overstepping. Boundaries also play a crucial role in emotional well-being. A woman with strong boundaries recognizes that she is not responsible for solving everyone else's problems or carrying their emotional burdens. She practices empathy without losing herself in the process, knowing that it is possible to support others without sacrificing her own mental health. This balance allows her to remain compassionate and present while protecting her peace. One of the most empowering aspects of boundaries is their ability to foster self-respect. A smart woman who upholds her boundaries sends a clear message to herself and others: her time, energy, and emotions are valuable, and she will not compromise them for the sake of convenience or approval. This self-respect is the foundation of her confidence, allowing her to navigate life with clarity and purpose. Boundaries are not static, they evolve as circumstances and relationships change. A smart woman revisits and adjusts her boundaries as needed, ensuring they remain aligned with her values and goals. She views this flexibility not as a weakness but as a strength, recognizing that growth often requires re-evaluating what serves her best. By setting and maintaining boundaries, a smart woman creates a life that reflects her priorities and values. She protects her energy, fosters meaningful relationships, and builds a sense of balance and fulfillment. Her boundaries are a testament to her self-worth, a reminder that empowering herself is the first step in empowering others. In honoring her boundaries, she paves the way for a life of respect, integrity, and true empowerment.